The question that I get asked more than any other question since being in this role for the last 7 years is, how do you know if the AI is biased? Great question, a question you must ask. And there are 3 tips that I would give you to really push on that when you're interrogating a vendor's technology. First is biased against what or whom. Be clear about what you're testing this for. And typically it's based on protected classes, which are governed by discrimination legislation in pretty much every country in the world. So from a race and gender perspective, you want to make sure that the technology is free of bias with those groups, and you can potentially add in other groups as well. People with a disability, people who have English as a second language, any AI model, because it's data, can be tested against those groups. So that's the first thing. The second is really be scrutinous about the training data. If that training data, which is the basis of what the model is using to inform its matching, its selection, its recommendations, its inference, if that training data is coming from humans, I wouldn't be using it and trusting it, because we are inherently biased. Most of our biases are unconscious. Go to Wikipedia, it lists about 144 biases. You cannot train people out of something that is unconscious. If it is coming from resumes, highly likely that you're going to be feeding in bias too. If it's coming from video, it's also highly likely that it's going to be biased. And so you want to make sure that you're really scrutinous about it. At Sapia, we use language data, which has no PII, which is what we call a first-party data set. It's very pure. The third one is, how do they ensure that this is visible when it's actually deployed in market? And at Sapia, we have live 4/5 and effect size testing on every model. You want to make sure that your vendors are doing the same. There's no reason why you can't have visibility of this real time. And finally, recognize that models are dynamic and can change and evolve over time. So this isn't a one-time task. In some regions, particularly in the US, bias audits are required on an annual basis. I would suggest that you do it more frequently than that, just to protect yourselves and protect your company. So those are my 3 tips.